Hey guys, I am Cassie Blanco. This is my first official YouTube video and I'm excited because this is kind of long overdue for me. I've been procrastinating making this video for such a long time and I just feel like every time I try to film it, something goes wrong or something just tries to delay me from posting. So here it is, no more waiting. I am so excited. Here is story time for how I came to Christ, how I transformed my life around and let go of all of my new age beliefs, all of my witchcraft desires, and completely stopped smoking and drinking. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with a PSA because a lot of people say that, you know, you find Christ, right? You find God. But in my case, I genuinely stick by this. I feel like God found me in my brokenness, in my depression, in my darkest place in my life. Like I was literally at the darkest place in my life. I reached a dead end in my life and I felt broken. I felt lost. I felt depressed. I felt suicidal. I was at a place where I just felt no purpose. I felt no desire to even live my life. It was bad. I want to just start by saying everything just happened super fast. I've officially been walking with Christ for about a year now. January 28th, 2021 was the day that I completely surrendered my life to Christ. Now, PSA, I've always believed in Christ. I've always believed in God and Jesus. I've always prayed, but it was kind of like I was lukewarm. I was always just like, I didn't really feel the need to go any deeper. Like I would pray to him and I didn't really have that relationship like I have now, right? So like I knew of him, but I didn't really know him, if you know what I mean. The girls that get it. The girls that don't. When you build a relationship and you actually get to know him, you start to see the miracles, the signs and wonders. You get to experience his love on a whole different level. And for me, I was such a lukewarm for years that I didn't even realize how much there was to know about him, right? You just are, you're taught in church all of these things that it didn't really stick with me until I finally started walking with Christ. And it's like I started getting the wisdom to actually understand what these stories are about and all of that stuff. So now I can read the Bible and actually understand what God is telling me through the stories. But back then I would read or whatever and I would just not get it. I couldn't understand. I didn't have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding, but God had filled me up with that so that I'm able to understand and decipher what it is that the Bible is telling you. So let's rewind back to a year ago, the 28th of 2021. Let's rewind to right when the pandemic started, right? The pandemic started and I was out of a job because everything shut down and I was forced to quarantine, which led me to my alcoholic addiction. I've always drank, but it was always like on the weekends, like a normal person, like, oh, let me go and social drink. But no, when the pandemic hit, I became a whole alcoholic. Like every day, I didn't care what time it was. It could have been 10 a.m. and I was hitting the liquor store. Like literally, I did not care. I was ready for a bottle of Henny at 10 a.m. sharp. Like skip the coffee, skip the breakfast. Where's the liquor? That was me. But yeah, it was bad. I also drink, I also smoke heavily, used to. This is past tense. I also used to smoke super heavy, like I actually sold weed and all of that. Like I was a drug dealer. I was smoking at least every hour of the day. I probably went through like a quarter a day, minimum. It was bad. I was spending a lot of money on alcohol and weed and all of these things that made me feel good in the moment. Like they were temporary pleasures. And then after I was like sober, I would start to think too much, get in my head, and I would start to need to be drunk or high again. Like it was an addiction. Like literally, I wasn't able to deal with what I was dealing with. I was using these things to escape from reality, right? And every time I would get sober, I hated it and I felt like I had no personality. I felt like all the feelings start to hit you when you're sober. So I wanted to stay not sober. I wanted to stay drunk. I wanted to stay high. yeah, that's just how my kind of addiction started. Pandemic, no job. All my friends and I, we were just like, let's turn up. Like we would literally turn up every day. Like every day was a party. I wasn't just the type to drink a few drinks and like feel a buzz. Like, no, I was drinking to like specifically black out and like not understand what even happened. Like I was that drunk. I wanted to get blacked out. Like that was my goal. I never wanted to just have a buzz. Like I have no tolerance when it comes to drinking or smoking. I would just keep on. Like, so that's why it was such a problem for me. So anyways, let's fast forward a little bit. We're like a year into COVID, and I'm just like I'm lost. Like I'm always on the go. I'm drinking and driving. I'm doing all of these things. I'm almost ending up in jail. Like I'm just falling down the wrong path, okay? I am selling drugs while I got a whole bottle open in my car. Like, I do not advise anyone to do this, but I'm just telling my experience. I started dabbling in New Age witchcraft. So I started to begin like to explore my spirituality and raise my consciousness and channel the higher divine. Like, it was all demonic. But in my eyes, I'm like, I have a good heart. I'm doing it to reach out to my ancestors and to talk to my spirit guides. And yeah, none of that was spirit guides. They were demons. Don't want to come for you spiritual New Age people, praying that you open your eyes like I had to. And yeah, so let's just talk about it. I was literally doing tarot readings. I bought a bunch of tarot cards. I bought everything crystals. I spent hundreds of dollars on crystals, different chakra candles, and I was getting into yoga and opening my third eye and astral projection, like you name it. I was like getting into it. I was like, well, I'm Native American, so my ancestors did this, you know, because just because your ancestors did something doesn't make it right? Just a PSA. We like to think that because our ancestors, they did this for thousands of years does not make it right? No, I'm buying all these crystals. I was getting into psychedelics. I was doing acid, shrooms. I wanted to go to Mexico and do ayahuasca with freaking shamans. Like, that's how deep I was into this stuff. I was, you know, having this huge spiritual awakening, and I was thinking that like, wow, the shrooms are opening my third eye and I'm meditating and I'm, you know, but in reality I started to realize there was so much darkness to all of this stuff that I was dabbling in. Like none of that was helping me as much as I wanted to believe that it was, right? The more that I was messing with that stuff, the deeper in depression I got, and the more tormenting dreams I had with devils and all of these just crazy like witchcraft stuff. Like I just started to get tormented by like demons. Like I honestly felt like my life started to spiral more than it did to help me. Like as these things say, I was using crystals to try to protect me and manifest things, and God convicted me. Oh, we totally skipped the whole part. I'm sorry. Let me just rewind a little bit. So yes, I'm deep into spirituality, really believing in this stuff, right? But I ended up getting a text from this girl. She lives in Colorado. I live in Florida. And I get a text from her saying, she literally said, God told me to send you to Colorado. I'm going to buy your plane ticket. One, I'm just so shocked because we're not that close to the point that she would buy me a plane ticket and that would be normal. Like, you know, I get if it's someone that I've known like my whole life, you know what I mean? But this was just someone that was just like, I met one time or two times and we just, you know, we clicked, but it wasn't like, I was so shocked. Like, why would you buy me a plane ticket? Like, it was just unbelievable. I usually was the type to like pay for all my friends and do things like that. So for me to have someone do that for me, it felt like, wow, like, I always wanted a friend like you, you know? So she sends me to Colorado. Of course, I'm getting drunk at the airport. I'm like 5-6 shots in at the bar. And I'm like ready to turn up. Like I'm thinking that this vacation's gonna be lit. I'm texting her like, yo, I'm drunk at the airport. We about to get lit. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm getting a whole vacay right now. And that was not what God had planned. Like, let me tell you. She ended up texting me back like, oh, we're not gonna be drinking. And I was just like, we're not gonna be drinking. I've like in my head, I'm like, I've drank for the past every single day for the past like 2 years straight. I'm gonna drink. Like I'm gonna have me a drink. One thing about me, I'm a drink. Like, I don't care if you don't want to drink, I'm gonna buy me a bottle and I'm gonna stuff it in my suitcase when I get there, okay? Like, that was my mentality. I was like, I can't go without drinking, right, on this trip. I'm sorry, we gonna get drunk. When I landed, of course, that was not the plan. Like, I literally had the plan of leaving in an Uber and just going and getting drunk, or getting my own place to stay at, because like I was gonna be staying at her house. And I remember thinking, like, if she don't let me drink, I'm literally gonna leave. Like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But when I got there, we started to talk, and I started to open up about basically like what I was going through. I feel like I never had a real friend that I can truly like vent to and open up about my life to. So she goes and plays this sermon by Michael Todd. I've never in my life even watched a sermon up until this day. She showed me what a sermon was. A sermon is basically like a pastor preaching. It's almost like a virtual church service. And I started watching it, and I remember just feeling some, like, a warmth overcome my body. Like, I just remember feeling such a, like a radiating warmth just flowing through me. And I just remember feeling so much peace and so much love and just warmth. Like, it was an undescribable feeling. Like, I can't even describe it to you guys. But I remember just getting in my feelings, and while I was watching this video, it felt like God was speaking directly to me. Every single word resonated in my spirit. It's like I felt so much conviction. I felt so much conviction. And it was the series, if you want to know, it was Michael Todd, You Are Loved. When I tell you that this series helped me so much, it was just like my edges were pulled back while I was watching it. Like, that's how good this series was. And I remember just breaking down in tears. And it wasn't like a depressing cry, but it was like I'm the type of person, I don't like to show emotions. I like to put on a smile and just like act like everything's perfect. But I feel like it was so much built up emotions. It was so much things and trauma that I was releasing finally. It's like when you bottle up all your emotions and then it just explodes. I probably was crying to my friend for like 2 hours straight. Like, honestly, just crying. And it was like not like a cute like cute tear. It was like I was bawling, like overwhelming. Like, I could have probably had a cup of water filled. Like, I could have had a full cup of tears filled. Like, that's how much water was streaming down my face. It was like, I can't explain it. It felt like God was like taking all of this trauma, this hurt, this depression, this pain, all these things that I've been through as a child. And of course, I'll do a video more getting in depth of why I was so depressed and how I got to this like dark place and what I was battling with. But that's like a story for another day, because this video would end up being like an hour long. I like break it up into different things. But it was so much like pain and suffering that I have gone through in my life, whether it was through childhood trauma or even just like heartbreaks and things that I've done that I didn't ever feel like I was forgiven for. And it just felt like it was so much coming to the surface. We as humans, we bury our trauma, and we bury it deep in our subconscious, because we as humans, we don't like to deal with our problems, right? We don't want to heal. Like, I wasn't taught how to express myself or communicate, right? So a lot of the things that I've been through, I just kept it inside, and it ate me up for years. It was like weighing on me. In this moment, me pouring out all of my emotions, it felt like God was taking it out. It felt like I was physically and spiritually getting lighter and lighter. And after crying for a few hours, I remember just feeling so like healed. I almost felt like, wow, I don't know why I was so depressed. Like, it's like instantly God took that depression, God took that anxiety, because I was pouring out my heart to him, right? I was acknowledging the fact that I didn't heal from these things that I tried to bury deep in my subconscious. But it's like God brought it up to the surface, and I just had to let it out. Like, I had to heal from it. And in that moment, I felt so changed. Like, I felt brand new. I truly felt like I gave my life up to Christ again. When I was young, I got baptized, but this time, a few months after leaving Colorado, I remember being worried about going back to Florida. And I remember thinking, I don't want to go back because it's going to be a distraction. Like, what if I get back home and I want to drink again. Mind you, this whole trip, I had no desire to even pick up a bottle. I had no desire to drink, right? The smoking took a little longer, but we'll get to that. But the drinking, I completely, like, that day at the airport was the last time I got drunk. Like, the last time I drank alcohol. And I never thought that was gonna be my last time. Believe me, it was so unexpected. I really felt like, okay, it was easy for me to not to drink because I was in a whole new environment and I was like on vacation, and I was just like, well, I can do this. But on the way home from Colorado, I was on the plane and I almost started having a panic attack because I was like, my environment is so triggering to me. Like, I have so many people in my life that I drink with, all my friends, we get drunk. Like, that's what we do. I'm surrounded by a lot of negativity. So like, it consumes me and I always just resort to drinking. And I was very scared. I was super paranoid. I was like, I'm just going to go back to drinking and I'm going to fail God again. Like, I'm going to drift away and this whole revelation. But when I tell you, whatever God did in me in that moment, it stuck. I got back to Florida, and not only did I have the self-control and the discipline to say no to my flesh, I completely cold turkey drinking, like just like that. I never even picked up another bottle again, like literally. And thank God, because I am saving so much more money. PSA. Anyways, a few months later, I ended up giving up the smoking too. And smoking, it was the same type of thing. Like, I was slowly easing out of it, but then I completely cold turkeyed it. Like, I completely just stopped it, and I just realized, you know what, I'm done getting high. I'm done trying to escape from reality instead of just dealing with it, right? So yeah, after smoking and drinking for years, literally since I was probably like 15, 16, I've been drinking and smoking. And I'm 23 now. I feel like when I'm sober, now that I'm sober, I can see clearly, I can think clearly. I don't have the devil like in my mind. He's not over here giving me anxiety and telling me all these negative thoughts. And it's just like, I feel so reborn. I feel so like full of energy now. And I'm not a procrastinator like I used to be. Like, I used to never want to do things. And now it's like I'm creating content. I'm putting myself out there. All of this stuff that I couldn't do when I was high or when I was drunk, you know? It's like I can see my purpose clearly. So slowly but surely, God started to reveal my purpose to me, and he started to give me kind of like clarity on who I was. He started to reveal myself to me. You know, it was crazy. You guys, I just feel like once you fully surrender to Christ, he will take you on a roller coaster. Like, I'm still on the roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster that only goes up. It's like you keep on learning more things about yourself. He keeps revealing things to you that are toxic that you might have to get rid of. He will start to remove friends. He will start to remove patterns, habits, any addictions that are not pleasing God. He will start to remove it. And it's not going to be like it's not a marathon. No need to rush and try to drop everything immediately. Like, allow God to truly work on you and transform you inside out. And he truly will. Like, he will answer you. He says, the Bible says, ask and you will receive. Not ask and you might receive. Ask and you will receive. When you call out to God and you ask him to change you and you ask him to help you and you surrender it up to him, you don't even know what you're about to get, because God is not a God who shall lie. He is a God who is going to answer. Okay, answer the call. If you've been feeling deep conviction in your spirit and you're ready to just drop those desires of your flesh and pick up the will of God, it will be the best decision of your entire life. Okay, the best decision you can ever make in your life. If you stay to the end, like, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate you. If you guys want to hear more about the story, I would continue, but this is going to be a lot of things to edit. But I'm just excited. I'm excited for this new chapter that God's taking me on. Quick testimony. In just the last month, God has grown my platforms like more than I could ever imagine. I went from 10,000 followers on TikTok to 100,000 followers. Okay. In 1 month, like 1 month, 90,000 followers in 1 month. That's the power of my God, right? Our God. But you know, when I say like my God, like that's the power of the God I serve, right? God is so good, and he's just continued to just blow my mind with how real he is. I knew that day he was real. Like, I didn't need any other conviction. I ended up getting reborn in Christ, getting baptized again, and ever since then, my life's been just a transformational beautiful change. But thank you guys for watching. I pray that this touched you. I pray that this helped you and encouraged you. And if you need any advice or have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. It's Cassie Blanco. You can check out my TikTok. It's Cassie Blanco. And I will continue spreading the gospel. I pray that you guys can surrender your life to Christ if you're not yet surrendered. And I just pray that God touches you the way that He's touched me and revealed Himself to me. I'm so excited for your guys' journey and walk with Christ, and I pray that you guys follow my journey as well, because this is just the beginning. To think that this is only 1 year in walking with Christ fully, I don't even know what's to come in the future, but I'm just excited, and I'm enjoying the moment. I'm never looking too much ahead, and I'm never looking in the past, because yes, we're gonna slip up. We all fall short of the glory of God, but just know that God is never going to leave you. He's always going to be walking with you, holding your hand through all of the trials, through all of the storm. He was with me. He never left me, and He's with you too. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I pray that this touched you. Have a great day, and God bless you guys.